Hello boys and girls, decided to make a small reaction video about everything we know so far in the announcements that they did in Blizzcon. And to be honest, I'm not really thrilled with what we heard. I was expecting more, so to speak. But let's start with the fact that they announced the next three X packs all at once. I don't think that's a good thing to do because it tells me a couple of things. First, they announced three of them because probably what's going to follow next, The War Within, is not going to be an awesome X-Pact. It's just going to be the intro of this big story, and they wanted us to know there's going to be something good at the end, but probably the start is not going to be amazing. So this is why they wanted to create some hype of what's going to follow, based on the fact that probably The War Within is just kind of like a filler X-Pack. I hope I'm wrong. They also announced that the cadence of releases is going to be more frequent, which I'm not sure how to understand because to me it just sounds that instead of every 2 years, they'll be milking us for more money every year now, or whatever the cadence is. I needed a little bit more info there to be convinced that this is going to be a good thing because in order for this to succeed, they need to make sure that those X packs are good and they contain a lot of good content and a lot of good updates. If they're just the new raid and the new dungeons, then that doesn't fly that good, right? That's gonna be like the next version of Windows that's there just because it's released and it has to be released, but it's not necessarily going to have the vibe and the content that an X pack needs to have. So this is my biggest fear there. Of course, we'll know more in the days to come, I guess, but the record so far, because I think that they might be thinking, okay, we can do this, we can give them a lot of content, and it's going to be good content for each of the patches. I wanted to say for each of the expansions, but they don't have a good record of succeeding to do this so far. For the reasons of I came back in Shadowlands. Shadowlands was so bad that we don't even want to talk about it. And then, yeah, compared to Shadowlands, Dragonflight was good, but even the last season, the season 2 in Dragonflight, they managed to completely mess this up with the augmentation of Walker and the broken meta and the god comp, right? So those are not pluses to them having to release a lot of new content and all of it being good. And if they want to basically get more money for expansions every year and a half, then they need to back this up with some good content. If they have mediocre content, then I don't think that's going to fly very well with the audience. And also, if they want to like milk us for every patch, I would be more happy to have something like every patch costs $10 or something instead of milking us for 50 at once. I guess the thinking behind this is that a lot of players basically buy the new expansion when it comes out, but then they drop off when they see that it's not what they expected it to be. So now they want to have a better frequency to get more money from those coming back players, then they fall out and they come back for the next one. I hope I'm wrong. But time will tell. And The War Within, I think the cinematic was actually amazing. It was very well made, but it didn't tell us much. Like, we know that probably Azeroth is going to wake up at the end or something, and there's going to be Titans involved, but the next X-Pack is just going to be some dungeons, some raid, we're going to kill some Neroops, whatever, and that's going to be it, right? I don't think there's anything catching at this point from story-wise, or they didn't even announce any big changes to raids, change the number of people for Mythic, for example, or for Mythic Plus, affixes, etc., right? None of this was announced. So, from that perspective, this is just some text for me. Nothing interesting. Yes, we're gonna get new zones, we're gonna get new raid, we're gonna get new dungeons. I mean, this is expected, this is new expansion, right? But we kind of have this given to us, so we cannot really say this is innovative and this is going to carry the expansion. We can't expect those things to be there, and if they're not, it's just gonna be a minus, right? So dungeons and raids announced, as I said, nothing new there. Delves is something that I'm kind of interested in, because one thing that was really bad made in Dragonflight, in my opinion, is the solo PvE content that you could do out in the world. There are a lot of events in Dragonflight, but they were so bad implemented that it's not even funny. So at first they had those events which occurred every 3.5 hours. That was so bad because you have to be logged in that specific place, and then you had to just go there and stand because there's nothing to do, right? Everybody else is doing it. And then they kind of like changed that cadence, and now it's every 30 minutes, but it's still bad because I do N+, right? So I'm in the middle of the dungeon, and I want to be there to do the event, but I can't just drop the dungeon, right? Or if we're queuing for a dungeon, I have to say, hey guys, can you wait 10 minutes so I can go wait for just this event to finish? Like, it doesn't really matter if I'm there, but if I want the rep or the reward or whatever it is, I have to go there and stand there for 10 minutes. So this was really bad implemented. All of the events that they had in Dragonflight were basically made this way. The only thing that I enjoyed were the little events in Zarlek Caverns, which were like solo events. You go and do like the solo quest, kill the Hydra, fill in the cart, push the cart, whatever it was, right? So those were the only things that I enjoyed, which for a whole expansion doesn't fly that well with me. And I'm kind of looking forward to the delves because maybe they'll be more like a Torghast kind of thing, because I actually like Torghast. It was very badly implemented because it became a chore and everything, but I actually did all the achievements there. I would just go and play solo or with friends, etc. Try out new skills, etc. That was very interesting to me. And I hope the delves will be something that is going to be in the same vicinity, in the same points of interest. And warbands, that is something that should have been there for a long while. I'm somebody who plays a lot of oaths, so having to farm reputation and then go back and do it the same way on an oath, and I mean, this is just ridiculous. So this is long due. I'm very happy that they made it. I guess another example we can give is that they opened cross-server trade. So now you can trade to people from other servers, but if you have main or oaths on different servers, you cannot trade between them. Like, if I have to transfer the gold from one server to another, I have to find somebody else, give the gold to them. They need to be trustworthy, and then they give it back to me on the other server. So all of those things are something that should have been in the game for a long time, and I'm very happy to see this coming up. This is actually a very good feature, and I'm definitely going to be very happy to see that in game. And then we have the hero talents. The hero talents are something that sounds interesting for sure. You have different specializations, etc. But my question here is, what's next, right? Because right now the talent trees are there. I'm actually not a fan of the talent trees. That's a topic for a whole different video. But there's the talent trees, which you don't have that much flexibility in, because once the talent tree is there, people figure out what the best talents are, the rest are dead. And now I'm just going to have more on top of that. And I guess they're not going to bring new skills, I think. I'm not sure. I guess they're not going to bring new skills to the table, but they're just bloating more and more on top of the system, and at some point it's just going to collapse. And you're going to have too many talents, too many nodes, too many routes, etc. And it's just going to backfire. So I kind of like the idea, let's have evergreen features, etc. But it really depends on how they implement them. And you don't want to like make so many of them that at one point it's just going to overwhelm the players. So that's my fear there, although the hero talents actually sound quite fun. And then I guess a couple more points that are not covered in this article, but they did confirm that Amudrasu is going to be the last raid in the expansion. And I have mixed feelings about that, because I was expecting more from Dragonflight, right? Unless the next expansion releases in May or April or something, then Dragonflight is going to basically have the same content as Shadowlands. And Shadowlands was bad for many reasons, but one of the reasons was that there was so little content, right? We have the mid patches right now, which is kind of like filler content, etc. But we're going to have the same amount of dungeons, the same amount of raids. We'll probably have Season 4, which is going to be similar to the Season 4 in Shadowlands, which is interesting, yes, but it's not new content. So I am actually disappointed to see that we didn't have more dungeons, for example, in M+ this season, and obviously not enough raids. So that also goes back to the fact that they announced 3 more X packs. If they're not filled with enough content, as I said, I'm fearful that it's not going to play out well. And then I guess the other interesting thing is the Season of Discovery in Classic. I'll probably go and play that. Finally, Shaman tanks. Woo! But my point there is it releases basically 2 weeks after Season 3 starts. And this is just going to be a distraction, right? I would have loved if this released like a month ago, because season 2 ended like 2 months ago. Like, there's nothing I've done in game for the last 2 months. I didn't push IO score, I didn't push dungeons, I didn't rate, so that would be a good time. But right now it kind of feels that we might have a little bit more in our hands that we could handle. But at least the Season of Discovery is filled with interesting ideas, different specs, different skills, and I guess that's another way of them testing. I'm kind of tired of being their beta tester, right? But that would be interesting, because if those things potentially work out well, maybe we can see some of them come to the retail version, into the life keys, life rates, etc. But only time will tell. So those are my initial thoughts. I didn't find many interesting things. I'm looking forward to the warbands and the delves, but other than that, nothing to be excited. Even the hero talents might be something that backfires. But I will also say that in the days to come, in the weeks to come, there's going to be more information, more reveals, maybe more exciting changes that are going to happen. So let's wait and see, give them the benefit of the doubt, and let's hope that they'll basically manage to turn this whole thing around with the X-Pack cadence and everything, and make the game even better than it is right now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll be more than interested to find out what you guys think. And if you have any suggestions or ideas of what they can do to actually make the game better. And I'll see you on the next video. Until then, bye bye and take care.